Shalom Yasharallah, giving all praise and glory to the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That you can see, played that footage so that you can get a chance to see what's getting ready to go down in California. Schools in their curriculum. Part of the wickedness of this world. For real, for real. So, I'm going to have to go into it because all that's idolatry. We're not supposed to be dealing with that. It's always Colossians 3:17. Whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. Give me thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. So, everything that we say is going to be in the name of the Lord. Say we give thanks to the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's worthy to be praised. Hallelujah to his glorious and holy name. Now, I say it all the time, but we can go there in Psalms 96:5. Know it by heart. I've said it so much, but we can give you a chance to get there so you can look at it for yourself. Psalm 96:5, it says, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Most High made the heavens, right? So, because they worship in things of the heavens, the sun, the moon, the stars, the comets, everything you can think of, and then some. But he told us in Exodus the 20th chapter, which is the 10 Commandments, he told us specifically in verse 3, we as the children of Israel, he said, all 12 tribes, he said, thou shalt have no other gods before me, which is idols. Now we know he said all the gods of the nations are idols. They're not dealing with him. But he said, thou shalt have no other gods which are idols before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And when they made these things, they make these things, he said, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Most High, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So that's what he said he gonna deal with. Those that hate him, because you hate him by not keeping his law, statutes, commandments, which is his rules and regulations. He said, and showing mercy, which is not getting something you do deserve, unto thousands of them that love me. And you love him how? And keep my commandments, by keeping his commandments. You see? So, this is what the Most High has given us in his commandments. He told us not to do this. But, here go Israel. Daniel's 9:11. This is what we did. Daniel's 9:11. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law that he just gave us, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. We, all of us, including Daniel, a righteous man, he said, we have sinned against him. And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem, upon the children of Israel. So, go to Psalms. That's why I say we brought this upon ourselves. He told us what you just heard. Not to have any idols before him. But this is what we did. Psalms 106 and 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, right? When he told us, hold that, get Jeremiah 10:2. So you know 1 and 2, Jeremiah 10, the 10th chapter, verse 1 and 2. So you know what he told us. He told us, he said, hear ye the word which the Most High speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. He spoke to us over and over again. He said, thus said the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen. Now he just told us what? All the gods are idols, all the gods of the nations are idols. They do idolatry. It says, thus said the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen, right? And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed of them, right? So now, going back to Psalms 106 and 35, it says, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. I mean, California curriculum going to say they're going to go back to dealing with the gods that these people were worshiping before they came. The Edomites came here and conquered them. Say that God is oppression, dealing with oppression. Are you serious? So it says, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. Listen, and served their idols, served their gods, which were a snare unto them. Yeah, they sacrificed, listen, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. You see that? They sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. Just like he said, he talking about what they were doing and sacrificing on the pyramids here in North, Central, and South America, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters. You're not quoting these scriptures, but this is what you just heard. Whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Most High kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred, meaning he hated his own inheritance. And he gave them into the hand of the heathen, as we are this day. And they that hated them, so the heathen don't love us, they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, so they're using this, the power of the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but they got some other power. They came with Caesar Borgia. They came with somebody else. They ain't come with the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They came with their own power. Remember, they painted him as being them, a so-called white man. Caesar Borgia, that white image, and they had the Most High as a so-called white man too. It's in the Bible, so don't get it twisted. We're not talking about the same power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Most I have hair of pure wool. And myself, Shai, Philip said to him, hey, so is the Father, suffices us. It'll satisfy us. He said, hey, how long I've been with you, Philip? You seen me, you seen the Father. And I myself, Shai had hair of wool, tell you in Revelation 1 and 14 and 15, and feet like unto fine brass if it burned in the furnace. So it was very dark skinned with woolly hair, nappy hair. So they don't show, they ain't come with that power. They came with their own power, you know, which is an idol. You see, that's all written in the scriptures to understand what it is that they did until this day. You mean nobody really telling anybody that this is wrong, this is false. Look on Trinity Broadcast Network, TBN, see if you see that. Them tearing down Caesar Borgia saying it's wrong. That's what they came with. You know, they read the Bible in the way that they want to read it to the indigenous people that was here, Aboriginal people, I might say, you know, and they came with this Christianity. And he just said, that God of oppression. Then what did they do? They murdered the people. You know, gave them smallpox in the blankets. They did all these things, man. What you saying? But then they're gonna go back to this idolatry, to the utmost. Oh yeah, that's we're gonna go into it because it's real. It says, therefore, verse 40. Therefore, the wrath of the Most High was kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred. That means he hated his own inheritance, and he gave them into the hand of the heathen. And they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. See? So, this is what we're looking at. How, and for the last stance, I mean, this what you're looking at, the last stance. Like, he's saying what he's saying, but it's real in this aspect of people don't really believe what this Bible is saying. Revelation 12. And 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. Why? Because he knoweth that he have but a short time. You see? So he coming down with his wrath. because he know he got a short time, so he gonna pull out all the tricks in the book. I thought you couldn't deal with religion and the state. I thought you couldn't pray in the schools. You can't pray to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, but you can. They got it so you can pray to these gods. Think about it. We're on another level, y'all. Y'all better wake up. I'm here to warn you. You better wake up before it's too late. You better wake up, because this is real as real could be. For real. So let's look at let's go into the law. Go into Leviticus 18th chapter. See what the Most High told us. And if you want to be part of this, a remnant of who he's going to redeem in these last days, you better hear the word of the Most High. Leviticus 18:2. Well, let's read verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, speaking to us, we the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Most High, your power. He said, I am the Most High, your power. Now we're going to jump down to verse 21. So the Most High speaking to you. Verse 21, it says, And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire. You hear that? We're supposed to let none of our children pass through the fire of Molech. Neither shalt thou profane the name of thy power. I am the Most High. You see? So now, you know, it was saying about they had all them, once he said that, okay, they were saying that once they was having all these little sexual orgies and things that they were doing that's profanely, right? That's why he said next, thou shalt not lie with mankind as thou is with womankind. It is abomination. See? So now all these things that he's named after this, these are the things that they were doing along with sacrificing the children to Molech and so forth. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down there too. It is confusion. See? Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. See? So these are the things we got to look at and not doing so that we can be closer to the Most High and rebuke all these things. Go to Leviticus 20th chapter, verse 2. And the Most High speak once, yea, twice, man perceive it not. So he's telling us many a times the same thing. Like somebody say, I heard that, but you ain't hear it the first time, so you got to say it again. Maybe you hear it that time, you got to say it again. Maybe you heard it the third time. You really get it. Leviticus 20:2. You tell me, why is he speaking it to us over and over again, if thou canst? In Leviticus 20:2. Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, to us, we the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed, any of his children, the seed is your children, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. We just read that's what we did. We done read that. This is what we did. And I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among his people, because he have given of his seed, which is his children, unto Molech, to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from that man, you're not gonna expose him for burning his children to Molech, when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not. You don't want to put him to death. The Most High said, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, not only him, but his whole family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. So let's continue. You got more to go. So this is real deep when you think about it. Let's look at 2 Kings 16. 2 Kings 16. See, these are the things that you hear it, now you make them be righteous in doing the things that they're doing. This is what they're ordaining in the school system. You think it's going to just be here? It's going to be everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's going to be happening. Salakia. Let's say 2 Kings 16. I mean, this is cold, man. They taking away the power, and that's why people don't realize how strong and how powerful this truth is, because they could care less about really what they've been promoting as their so-called power or God or Jesus Christ. It's about what we dealing in this truth, to turn them away from coming to the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of this truth. Because it's all geared, like I'll tell you, for us, the children of Israel. 2 Kings 16 and 3. Well, let's read about this, who it is. In the 17th year, verse 1, of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Most High, his power, like David his father, right? This is what he did. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and made his son to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen. The Most High said, learn not the way of the heathen. So you see, he did that which was not right in the sight of the Most High, in walking in the way of the heathen, having his son pass through the fire according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Most High cast out from before the children of Israel. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. See, this is what he done. So these are the things that we're looking at, that they bringing back. This spirit. Now let's look at our 3 King. King Solomon. 1 Kings 11. 1 Kings 11. And jump to verse 1. And the Most High loved King Solomon. Even though he came from, what can I say, a murderous and adulterous relationship, to King David killing Uriah, plotting to kill him, murdered him, premeditated murder, and laid with his woman, Uriah's woman, Bathsheba, seen her naked. She got pregnant by King David. Most High killed his first son, and Solomon was next. So that's why the Most High ways and thoughts are not our ways and thoughts. You can't be trying to figure out the Most High and say this is where he gonna be. You can't find yourself in a fight with the Most High, because his ways and thoughts are not our ways and thoughts. He tell us what, this, that, and third, whatever. He do whatever he want to do. Keep that in mind, y'all. But listen, 1 Kings 11:1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, Egyptian, woman of the Moabites, Chinese, also called Ammonites, Japanese, Edomites, so-called white people, also called Zidonians, so-called Africans, and Hittites, more Africans, other nations, concerning which the Most High said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. Why? For surely they will turn away your heart, which is your mind, the way you think, after their gods. Remember, all the gods of the nations are idols. Solomon clave unto these in love. You see? Verse 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for Shamash, the abomination of Moab, or the Chinese, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon, the Japanese, indigenous, aboriginal I'm talking about. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, not the Israelite wives, but for his strange wives. He had 1,000 wives. But these strange wives of these other nations, this is what he did, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. All the gods of the nations are idols. Moses said, don't deal with them, because he's quoting from what he told us in Deuteronomy 7:3. Read that. Go there. Deuteronomy 7:3. He said, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. This cancels out interracial marriages. He said, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Why? For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods, or the idols of the other nations. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall he deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. See? He said, for thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power. The Most High thy power have chosen thee, we as the Israelites, to be a special people unto himself. How special? Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So, going back to Solomon knowing this, that's why you're looking at 1 Kings 11 and 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for Shamash, the abomination of Moab, also called Chinese, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon, Japanese. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. See? And the Most High was angry with Solomon, because his heart, which is his mind, the way he was thinking, was turned away from the Most High power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing. Most High came to him twice and commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Most High commanded. See? Wherefore the Most High said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant, did what I say to do, and my statutes, my rules and regulations, which I have commanded thee, I will surely tear away the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. So he split the kingdom, the kingdom from the north to the south, gave the 9 tribes the northern kingdom, and he left Judah with Benjamin. The Levites were amongst all the tribes, so Most High split the kingdom under King Solomon, with him doing this. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it, for David thy father's sake, for King David's sake, because he loved David. David was a man after the Most High's own mind, which is his heart. But I will rend it out of the hand of thy son, Salakia, Jeroboam. Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen, which is Benjamin. So this is what you're looking at. And so you see Solomon went off and doing what he did. Now let's look at 1 Kings 18 and 26. Man. Well, let's look at this is challenge with Elijah. Let's look at verse 22. Then said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of the Most High, but Baal's prophet are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. And I would dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. So he's a challenge. And call ye on the name of your gods. Tell them, call on the name of your gods. And I will call on the name of the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Most High power that answereth by fire, let him be the Most High, the power. And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. Let it be. Let's bring it on. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose your 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many. And call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under it. Put your bullock out and dress it how you want to dress it, but don't put no fire on it. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning until even until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered. And they leaped upon the altar which was made. They leaped upon the altar. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, cry aloud, for he is a God. Either he is talking or he is pursuing. He's either went somewhere looking for something, or he is in a journey. He's on a journey. Or perhaps he's sleeping. Maybe he's asleep. It must be awakened. He mocking them. He teasing them. And they cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lances till the blood gushed out upon them. They cut themselves, till blood started coming out of them. And it came to pass, when midday was past, and they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. Elijah said unto all the people, come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him. And he repaired the altar of the Most High that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, 12 tribes of Israel, unto whom the word of the Most High came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Genesis 35 and 10. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Most High. And he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. So he made a trench around the altar. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, fill 4 barrels with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. pour this water on the wood and the burnt sacrifice. And he said, do it the second time. So not only one time, say, do it again. And they did it the second time. And he said, do it the third time. And they did it the third time. Make sure it's drenched with water. Drenched with water. And the water ran round about the altar. And he filled the trench also with water. He filled the trench all around the altar. That he had dug a trench and made it all around the water. He filled that up with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, O Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art the Most High power in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, Shemai, O Most High, hear me, that this people may know that thou art the Most High power, and that thou art turned their heart back again. Then the fire of the Most High fell and consumed the burnt off sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench. Can you imagine this? I'm seeing it in my mind, man. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces. They fell on their face. That's why we just tell you that we require a sign. What better sign than this? We see it all this and still was wicked as ever until this day. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces. And they said, oh, the Most High, here's the power. The Most High, here's the power. When they seen this, oh, but give a little take, little time, go by, go back to where they was at. Like it is this day. And Elijah said unto them, take the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape. And they took them. And Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon and slew them there, killed every last one of them. And Elijah said unto Ahab, get thee up, eat and drink. But there is a sound of abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and to drink. And Elijah went up to the top of Carmel. And he cast himself down upon the earth and put his face between his knees and said to his servant, go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up and looked and said, there is nothing. And he said, go again 7 times, do it 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time that he said, behold, there arises a little cloud out of the sea, like a man's hand. And he said, go up, say unto Ahab, prepare thy chariot, and get thee down, that the rain stop thee not. And it came to pass in the meanwhile that the heaven was black with clouds and wind, and ready rain, a rain cloud. You know how it looked real dark? And there was a great rain, and Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. And the hand of the Most High was on Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. That's the power of the Most High. But you see, he's telling us, don't be dealing with idolatry. But you think we listen? Nope. We ain't listen. Deuteronomy 12 and 31. Deuteronomy 12 and 31. They bring these things to the schools of California. Thou shalt not do so unto the Most High thy power. Let's read verse. Let's start at verse 29. Deuteronomy 12 and 29. It says, when the Most High thy power shall cut off the nations from before thee, the Most High is doing this, whither thou goest to possess them, 7 nations greater and mightier than us, and thou shalt succeedeth them, and dwelleth in their land. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them. Remember, all the gods of the nations are what? Idols. So he's saying, telling us, take heed that we don't follow them. Like everybody following the nations that's dealing with idolatry here in this Western Hemisphere and all over the world, for that matter. After that, they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou require not after their gods. He said, don't require after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Isn't that what they were doing? Perfect example of what they're saying to get ready to do in California, in the school system, the curriculum. How did they serve their gods? All the different gods that they have, that they're setting up for a curriculum that everybody will have to call on the name of these gods. I thought religion wasn't allowed in the schools. Isn't God dealing with religion? Come on now. But this is what they set up unanimously as a curriculum in California. To get rid of the God that they said that the Christian pilgrims came here with in this Bible. But it wasn't the same power, as I say, as we dealing with. That's what Moses said, take heed to thyself. Take heed to yourself. Watch what you're doing, that thou be not snared by following them. That's why the Moses told us, no different then than now. Revelation 18:4. Better hear the word of the Most High. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye be received not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. And they remembered the iniquities of those that were following all these different gods, sacrificing to all these different idols and gods and so forth, before the so-called white man came here to this Western Hemisphere, going back to those gods, sacrificing their children. They telling you got to listen to it. First part of this lesson. I mean, it is what it is, man. It says, going back to Deuteronomy 12:30, he said, take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou require not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. These things are known. So that's what y'all gonna continue to do? Follow their gods, their idols? Thou shalt not do so unto the Most High thy power. For every abomination to the Most High, which he hateth, have they done unto their gods. I'm going to read it again. Thou shalt not do so unto the Most High thy power, your power, Israelites. For every abomination, every filthy wicked act, every sin to the Most High, which he hated, have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. As they're talking about going back to these worship of these gods that the indigenous people were dealing with in error, in wickedness, in abomination, while the Most High allowed them to be jacked up and let their enemies be over them. What thing soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto nor diminish from it. You can't add nothing to it and don't take nothing away, he's saying. Why you got to keep telling us? Most I speak once, yea, twice, man perceive it not. Here we are. Over and over again. Deuteronomy 18. And verse 9. When thou art come into the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. It don't matter what nation it is. They're not of the children of Israel. He's saying, don't learn the way of the heathen. Over and over again. We read it in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, 2nd verse. It's the same thing. He's saying it over and over again. Why do you think most I got to keep speaking to us over and over again? We stiff-necked, hard-headed, rebellious, all that, and then some. Thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. Listen, there shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire. We read that. This is what we did. We read that in Psalms 106 and 35 down. or that uses divination, witchcraft, or so forth, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High. And because of these abominations, the Most High thy power does drive them out from before thee. That's why the Most High got them out of the land and gave us their land, because they were doing all these things. Thou shalt be perfect with the Most High thy power. For these nations which thou shalt possess, hearkeneth unto observers of times and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Most High thy power have not suffered thee so to do. You see? So now, real quick, all those different things that was named of these nations, now that we in these last days, look at what the Edomites are dealing with. All you got to do is look at the back of a dollar bill, and you'll see all the nations that he cast out from us, all them so-called African nations, Hamites. That's what they have on the back of the dollar bill. The same thing, the same vibration. If not, then look, Isaiah 47 chapter, do what the Most High said, verse 12. This is what they dealing with. Stand now, the Most High. He gonna keep clowning them. He say, stand now, Edomites, and those that's following them, with thine enchantments. Isn't that what he said? Don't deal with without enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries. Isn't that what they're dealing with? Wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers. You hear that? That's why they can call on these gods of the indigenous people that was here, that they were following in air, being off while the Most High allowed them to be brought down. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly procrastinators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Say, behold, they shall be as stubble. That's like tumbleweeds. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not a cold or warm at, nor fire to sit before it. The Most High clowning them. Listen, verse 11 say, well, let's read verse 10. It say, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. See, nobody see me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. Because it ain't the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the Most High. They don't know the Most High. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises. And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. That's the judgment that's coming. Because let me show you. When salvation is coming on this earth, I've shared with you many times. I'm going to share it with you again. This is what they're going to say. Just for all you that's going to follow all the things that they got going on. When the Most High told us come out of the ways of how they have you thinking and acting and speaking. This is what they're going to say. When salvation is coming on this earth, righteousness is coming on this earth, they're going to say this. Because you know, he just said, stand now in verse 12, with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries. That has nothing to do with the Most High. This is things that he told us not to get into. Wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, from being born on. If so be thou may be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Because it tells you in 2 Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world. And Jacob, who was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, we the Israelite, is the beginning of it that followeth. So now, this is what they're going to say when salvation is coming on this earth. When righteousness is going to be set up on this earth. They're going to say this, Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 7. We reared ourselves in a way of wickedness and destruction. You just heard it. From the Most High. In Isaiah the 47th chapter. They're going to say, we rid ourselves of the way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. As for the way of the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua, we have not known it. And known is past tense. From this point to the time that the Most High goes send a Mashiach Yahushua on this earth to judge and make war and set righteousness up on this earth. His rules and regulations up on this earth forever and ever and ever. Point blank. So you can follow them if you want to. You see the results. You heard the end result. So you got a choice to make. You know, all these things that they talk about doing is wicked and an abomination. Now, if you're going to do it, you're going to jump into where they at, you're going to fall right with them. Look, that's what they plan on doing, right? Isaiah 13:15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So you make the choice. Amos 9:10. All the sinners, those that transgress the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments of my people who are the 12 tribes of Israel, shall die by the sword. Which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. You roll in the evil, you draw evil to you. Oh yeah, he gonna bring it on. He gonna bring it to you because you're drawing it right to you if you're gonna follow the way of the heathen. And they're gonna set up idols in the school system. Ooh, that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep, y'all. Better understand and overstand. Let's go to 2 Kings 17. So that's why I say this is what we were dealing with. And here it is, we facing it again right now in our time. Second Kings, the 17th chapter. Let's start at verse 9. No, let's start at verse 8. 2 Kings 17 and 8. And walked in the statutes of the heathen. When Most High said, learn not the way of the heathen, we walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Most High cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Most High their power. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill, and under every green tree, everywhere you can look. Idolatry. And there they burnt incense in all the high places to these idols, as did the heathen, whom the Most High carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Most High to anger, like it is now. You think the Most High is glorifying you following the idolatries of these heathen nations that never gonna know the way of the Most High, and never gonna know the Most High, as we just read in Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 7. That's what salvation is coming on this earth. That's what they're gonna say. And you still following them, and not coming back to his law, statute, commandments, having faith in him. You can't have faith in him. You following the way of the heathen. These religions and so forth they set up. Show me a religion that's keeping the laws of the Most High. What you getting ready to celebrate now? What's coming up now? What did we say as the Israelites? We gonna make sure that we honor for the victory of our enemies, like 4th of July. America getting the white so-called white man getting a victory over the Britons. What is the holy days that we say we gonna follow and getting the victories over our enemies that's coming up right now, if thou can say? When is the new moon? Feast. These are feast days that we honor, just like y'all got one day you're waiting on what? Valentine's Day. We got a feast day on Valentine's Day. But you don't know nothing about that if you go to church. Or you got you in some religion. The preacher should be telling you about these days that we say we're going to set up. Del Nicanor, Purim, 2 days in a row. All 3 days we killed our enemies. That was going to kill us, wipe us out. You don't know about your story. This is Black History Month. What about that history? You should be on that. You should be all into that. 3 days, man. We're going to have a good time. But no, you're going to follow the way to him. Y'all waiting on Valentine's Day. Cupid shooting the arrow in the dang on booty. That's the heart is a booty. Just bent over. That's a booty. Some wickedness, man. Learning the way of the heathen. Better come back to this truth before it's too late. Listen, this is what you've been doing. This is what you're doing. You fit right into this. They set them up images and groves and every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Most High carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Most High to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Most High had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Cupid represent what? Shoot an arrow in the booty. What that represent? Show me that in the Bible. Show me where the Most High said that's good. That's a good thing. I love that. That's part of my commandments to do. For they serve idols, whereof the Most High had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Most High just testified against Israel and against Judah, that's the northern tribes and southern tribes, by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, the northern tribes was Israel, and sometimes you see Judah as representing the southern tribes, all 12 tribes, saying, turn ye from your evil ways. He said that to us now. Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear. We already read that in earlier this lesson in Daniel 9 and 11. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Most High their power. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimony which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them. More so than the Most High. I say it all the time, man. We gave the Most High what you hear now and what you reading is we giving the Most High the middle finger. And yet still y'all talking about y'all love the Most High. You don't love the Most High. How you love him? This is what we did to him and still doing it to him. And they rejected his statutes. We ain't under the law. We're mercy and grace. We Gentiles grafted in. We were grafted in. Well, we don't know who we were grafted in, but we know we grafted in among somebody. Because that's your mindset, because they ask you who you're grafted in among. You can't tell me nobody. I'm filled with the Holy Ghost and speaking tongues. You filled with the Holy Ghost and speaking tongues?